A week felt like a month, Muench. That's when you know you love something, right? But we are back. And so too is the summer scouting series with South Carolina quarterback LaNorris Sellers. Just 325 days until the NFL draft and no time to waste. You good, Muench?
I'm good, man.
All right, let's roll this thing.
Missed you too.
It's a week away.
Missed everyone else too.
Yeah,
more than you.
Tucker, Dan, Mark, Conor, everyone. Eduardo. But we're back. I'm excited to be back. I've got some urgency this summer, man.
You're fired up.
Yeah, and you're excited. You've been texting me. You're excited. You won't tell me what you think about either of these guys, which I love. It's how we've always done it. You do your tape. I do my tape. We've got the summer scouting series. Brand new for us. So obviously brand new for you too, if you're tuning in, and thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. We're going to do this all summer. We're starting off with the quarterbacks. Let's just get out ahead. Let's dive deeper than that's the difference. Like we've always done like 125, 130 players each preseason, and we'll probably get to that number. I don't care if we do. Maybe it's only 90 guys. I want to do them right this year. I want to go deep, and like even last night, I'm up till 1 a.m. No one gives a shit. I get it. I'm tweeting out or sending posts on a ferry, and but the point in all of this is to get a foundation like we've never been able to do before, because we don't have to turn in X amount of scouting reports to a certain place, and we can actually dive in and have a really good feel going into the year. And honestly, with the quarterbacks more than any other position, I absolutely adore the process of the development. And I want to get into it in just a second with LaNorris Sellers. He's a great example of what you saw in week one. It's not what you saw at the
against Old Dominion, by the way.
So
it wasn't like he played Georgia in week one, but yeah, go ahead.
So we're sharing this process with you throughout the summer, and we're going to go the entire summer long. Then we'll get to August. I'm going to throw in another mock draft. We're going to throw in some college preview stuff and start getting rolling, get ready for the season. But it's always going to have a touch, if not a cavalcade, of draft behind it. Okay. But we appreciate you being here. I know everyone's going to the beach, having fun, school's getting out, all that stuff. But we're going to be here. So join when you can. And hopefully you appreciate the process, because this is what NFL scouts are doing, getting prepared for the season, go on the road for 4 months away from their family and all the things that it requires from. It's a grueling schedule, but all the things that it requires from a scout, we're trying to share kind of as much of that process as we can with you, our audience. And Muench, tell the fine folks who are tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever else they get their podcasts, tell them how they can support us, please.
Hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Hit the follow button on Spotify. I don't know Apple. Is it follow on Apple? I got to look that one up. I don't know which one it is, but you can find him at McShay13 on Instagram and on Twitter. Or X, whatever it's called these days. I'm at You Good Muench. That's MUENCH. And please consider subscribing to the McShay Report, which you can do for free, right? That's still a thing. You can do it for free.
Yeah, subscribe.
Get some stuff for free. Yeah,
get some stuff for free.
Tickle you a little stuff too. Yeah,
tickle you a little.
That's how it gets you
in. New McShay Report out this morning.
Yes.
Full breakdown of LaNorris Sellers. I mean, we've got plays, we got clip, we got everything. I printed out 15 pages. Not only the full scouting report with the background, with all the position specifics, like the mental makeup and the accuracy and the release and arm strength and the pocket mobility, but also NFL comp, also kind of where he is in the process going into the season. How do we project him? Where can the growth come? And then, like, for some reason with Sellers, I had more than I had with Garrett Nussmeier and more than I had with Arch Manning. Obviously, with Arch, only a limited catalog, but a lot of plays, highs and lows, right? And I think that's a perfect way to just dive into this thing, right? LaNorris Sellers, listed as 6'3", 240 pounds, estimated big dude.
Yeah.
The prototype.
Yes.
You wouldn't know it by the feet. Estimated, and this goes back to like the high school combines and some of the information we got. And quite honestly, sometimes it's just eyeballing it up on tape and an approximation of the 40 time. I'd say somewhere that 4.55, 4.58 range based off of all the information we have. Ballpark. So Sellers is entering his third year. Let's just give the little background here. He's entering his third year in the South Carolina program, third year in college, going into 2025. Only made 4 pass attempts. I believe he completed all 4, but it doesn't really matter. As a true freshman in 2023. So very limited. Gets a red shirt. Comes back red shirt freshman year, technically last year in 2024. Full-time starter. Okay? He played in 12 of 13 games, missed the second half of LSU and all of Akron with an ankle injury. Went on to complete 65.6% of his passes, over 2,500 yards, 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, handful of strip sacks we'll get to. Was also second on the team in rushing with 166 carries, 674 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Also of note, named SEC Academic Honor Roll multiple times in just 2 years. Guy's smart. He's hardworking. Haven't heard a negative thing about him. But that's his
team captain. As a redshirt freshman, team captain, yeah.
Yeah, and I get the quarterback. We're always trying to put him in a position of leadership, but there's some earning that goes with that as well. Let's do it a little different today, okay?
Okay.
Because we went through the position specifics, and I felt like with Nussmeier, we kind of got a little bit too beholden to the process of going through, and it's like, 7 minutes on his mental makeup, 7 minutes on the action. Let's rip through. Let's just do a quick comparison, okay? I'm going to go through the 4 position-specific grades, the way we do it, and remind you, the audience, a 1 is excellent. A 2 is good. A 3 is average. 4 is below average. 5 is marginal, okay? So when we roll out those numbers, it's kind of like par in golf. Less is better. Less is more, okay? Mental makeup. What did you have for a grade 1 through 5?
This was really, really difficult.
Really tough. That's why I'm asking you first.
And I think I played it safe here in terms of not. Maybe I was tougher on him than maybe you were. I ended up giving him a 3. There are things that I love about his mental makeup. We'll dig into this in a second, right? You just want to kind of rattle off the scores right now? Yep. Yeah, I gave him a 3. It was a difficult 3 to give.
I gave him a 2.5, and quite honestly, I could have given him a 3.5, and based off of a handful of games early in the season, I could have given him a 4.
Right.
But it's more so like, where is he going into the season? I gave him a 2.5. So we're in the same neighborhood. Average to slightly above average in terms of the progress, but accuracy is another tough one.
We're doing halves now, huh? I'm going to do the half then. I'm going to do, because I struggled with this one too. I'll go 3.5.
I went 2.5, and I'm going to be totally honest with you.
I was ready to jump you on this one. Go ahead.
I then was preparing afterwards for Klubnik because we're going to do Cade Klubnik on Thursday. And I was like, the newsletter's out, but if it wasn't, I'd go back in at least a 3. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Release arm strength. That's the load to arrival, the LTA, if you will. From basically, we're not just talking about the velocity on the ball, but also, is it heightened or lessened? Is it made faster or slower by the release quickness? So 1 out of 5, 1 being the best, 5 being marginal. What did you give his release arm?
1.
Okay, I went 1.5. And then pocket mobility, what'd you give him?
1.
I went 1.5, and I should have gone 1. All right. I'm in an honest mood, man. I'm honest.
You should be. It's in it. This is what's great about how we're doing it this year, though, because we talked about this before. We've done schools before. Now we're stacking guys, and you're seeing. So, this in some ways, so Klubnik and Sellers are this week. We both watched them or have started to prep on Klubnik. We've done Sellers. So you're gonna make some of these comparisons. You're gonna be like, well, if he's a 1, then it helps. It helps to see these things back to back just to see where guys stand out, right?
No question. And,
right.
And we did Arch, which was a limited one with our first summer summer six scouting.
Great way to dip your toe in it. Yep.
Yeah. And obviously an important name and to track and get out early on it. And then Garrett Nussmeier, who we both really liked to varying degrees. You can go back and watch that show as well on YouTube, on the McShay Show page, on Spotify, Apple, and wherever else you get your podcasts. We're going to run them. So, like, if you're away on vacation with the family, we're going to run these all summer. You can get caught up whenever you need to get caught up, but you're not going to want to miss it because there's a progression to all of these, okay? And then as we wrap up the quarterbacks, I want to spend some time, and it's going to be probably next week after we're done with Drew Aller, and we're debating whether to do one or two more, whether it's next week or the week after. I would like to circle back and kind of try to stack them a little bit heading into the season, okay? I know where I want to go with it, but I talk too damn much on this show sometimes. So I'm going to open the floor. Take it wherever you want, and I'll play off of that. And I know where the direction I want to go. And then we can start getting into like the nitty gritty and some certain plays and wherever else you want to go. But you started out, man.
The more we watch this, we go through these quarterbacks, the more excited I am about the potential of this class. Now, granted, remember, Sellers he's a redshirt sophomore. He could go back for another 3 years if he wants, and could do whatever he wants. But we're talking about the class that could be right next year.
Yep.
And I am getting excited. And this
too.
kid is a big part of it. He is a big part of it because there is a lot of oh no moments. There is a lot of that's gotta get better. I think the accuracy's got to get better. The anticipation's got to get better. But that being said, some of the things that he does. Okay, the first play that comes on tape for his like positive grade reel, right? There's something like 100 plus plays on this. He throws a ball 70 or 65 yards, maybe 75 yards. I have it. 65 yards in the air and hits a guy in stride, and the receiver drops it, but he hits the guy in stride against Old Dominion. Right away, okay, all right. I guess he's got a pretty good arm. And then you see I know you had this play in the Kentucky game where he climbs, then he slides laterally to stay behind the line of scrimmage, and then he throws a 20-yard dart with the guy hitting him in the face and no way that he can follow through. And I'm like, okay, talent-wise, and then let's just throw it in. We'll talk about this. We might as well talk about it now. He has a 75-yard run against LSU where he makes the safety miss and no one's catching him. So yeah, I would agree with you that I'm guessing his 40 time is about what you said, but I'd like to see his time on the field. He plays fast, man. He is fast for a 240-pound guy. So it takes almost no time when you throw this kid's tape on to see the talent. The other thing that I think is super important to what's happening here, or what's happening with his progress, is when you watched him late in the year against Missouri and how he played in that game. He had 5 touchdowns. I called him Superman after that game. I stand by that. The way he led South Carolina to a win in that game. And then against Clemson, where he did it with his feet and had a 20-yard scramble for a touchdown, just making plays, finding ways to put the team on his back. The Clemson game, he didn't have a great game throwing the ball, man. I think he threw for 165 yards, right in that range.
But he was a terror on the ground.
He ran for 166 too, including the game-winning scramble
with
about a minute left.
It wasn't like cheap
Get
stuff.
on my back, man.
Yeah,
I'm ready. I am going to win this game. There is no way. And by the way, at that time, I know they didn't get in. At that time, it seemed like there might be a playoff spot on the line. There was a lot on that game, and he was like, "Get on my back." Now, the flip side of that stuff that I will say is he goes against Illinois in the bowl game, and he has a perfect opportunity to win that game late, and he just misses the throw to his tight end. I mean, inexplicably, a throw that you need to make in the NFL 10 out of 10 times, he just misses it. It's just not a good throw. So he's got to clean that stuff up. But remember, this kid was 19 last year. He doesn't turn 20 until, happy birthday, LaNorris, this month. He is 19 years old doing these things against SEC defenses. You got to keep it in mind, man. You have to keep in mind how young he is, how inexperienced he is, because there are a lot of negatives, and I get it. But the talent is outrageous.
I loved watching him last fall, right? I loved watching him last fall, and I had done just a little bit of tape kind of preparing for our show, but not through this lens, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So when I put on the tape and was viewing it through this exact lens, I was like, oh shit. Because ODU wasn't great.
No.
And
he looks like a fish out of water at times in that game, man. Like, is this kid going to finish the year as a starter kind of a performance?
But Kentucky's where I was like, oh no. He had one throw like 9 minutes of first quarter, quick trigger, RPO, anticipation, looked good. Okay, here we go.
Right.
Then there's a little bit of a climb the pocket, slide left. I think you just mentioned slide left, the receiver flashing late, right? And I wrote too in there that was a moment there too. It was 3rd and 9, backed up, shadow of end zone, impressive stuff, a lot of poise. But it fell off after that. 155 second quarter, can't hold on to the ball. Awareness in this moment with the rusher breaking free, question mark, like catches a break because his teammate caught the loose ball, but it was a strip sack. Okay. One play later, bud, interception, overthrow, rusher bearing down, front side pressure again. So Stoops is no idiot. Let's keep right.
Right.
Let's keep the
front
side.
Until you show me you can beat it. Yeah. Until you show me you can beat it, it's coming.
Let's keep
That's
the front.
what you're going to see in the league too, man. You're going to see the same thing.
No question.
Right.
Relentless. And this is the SEC. It's the closest thing too. Now we're in the third quarter, and not many plays later, but you get a halftime in between. Strip sack. Holds on the ball too long. Front side pressure again.
I didn't get into that. Big picture, the ball security is a big problem. It might be the biggest weakness right now. You could talk about the accuracy and some of the decision making and learning how to read defenses and all that stuff. Dude, you got to hold on to the ball. I think there was 13 fumble clips to look at.
He got bailed out again, though. It was like the first play of the third quarter. Bailed out again. Teammate picked up the ball and actually ran it for a positive run. Okay.
Right.
Then I wrote Groundhog's Day. Another strip sack by front side pressure. So imagine I'm actually I'm on a ferry. Okay. And I'm watching this and I want to yell, but I've got people around and people are like having drinks and they're getting ready to go on vacation.
Right.
I wasn't. I'm getting pissed. So that's 4 times in like a quarter and a half, front side pressure, critical error, not protecting the ball, interception, not protecting the ball, got bailed out 2 of those 3 times, but now the 4th time, strip sack, front side pressure, nightmare sequence is what I wrote. Got to start learning from these mistakes. UK recovered this one. We're just starting the third quarter. Then there was a play later in the third quarter. I was like, progress, front side. He sensed the front side pressure. So in-game adjustment. Rolls to his left, locates, delivers open target. Good job sensing and eluding. There were some other good plays, right? 2 things that jumped out early that I started tracking in my notes. The front side pressure. Well, 3, I guess. The front side pressure, but I know that's going to be corrected eventually. But how long does it take him to figure it out and why? Secondly, when he's missing high.
Yes.
Footwork stuff.
And over the middle, that's a nightmare. Yep.
And number 3, it actually should be number 2, as you just touched on. There's this thing in him as a 19-year-old pup where I am so, and I want to remind the audience, we're talking through this, and we're going to get to all the positives too, because there's a hell of a lot of them. But you got to remember, he was he was a 17 to 18-year-old kid in high school, and he's so talented. He didn't have to worry. I go to high school games around here, and I'm sure it's better down the south where he was playing, but it's still high school kids, and they're not all going on to play college. And so he's probably, get off of me and ripping through. And so the things he got away in high school, because he was so much more talented than everyone who was playing. Because I got news for you. He's on the field with a bunch of SEC people, bunch of stars, and he's still one of, if not the best player on the field almost every time as the season starts to progress. So you can only imagine in high school. So he's got some bad habits he's going to work through. But the protecting the football when pressure's coming, and it's not even we'll see the hand span and what's going on there, but to me, it's more like this hero mentality, or he's Think about yourself. I remember, like, I was indestructible. So it's learning and it's reps. Okay. This is UK's his second start and his first start against SEC. Okay. So now we're on to LSU. You talk about that 75-yard touchdown run. Really nice deep shot under pressure. I didn't take a ton away from the LSU game. Like, a couple good, couple bad, but nothing like jarring to me.
And he missed a half, so.
And he missed. That's right. He missed a half.
Yeah.
And he missed. I mentioned before, the full Akron game. So that there wasn't as much on that. But then we're back to Ole Miss, and I see a flash, like third quarter, clock speeding up, smart decision, tucks and runs. I even wrote 156. Like, now I saw in that game, like, now we're starting to play with some confidence.
Right.
I actually want to say this. I actually think I was tainted with his mobility grade by early on. He seemed sluggish, and now looking back on it, I honestly think he was hesitant. As the season progressed, and I write in here, like, all right, like, now he's playing with confidence, taking off and running. More so where was the now we're playing with confidence. 156 third quarter, rolling right, avoids rusher, locates, connects with the receiver, starting to see him play loose and free. They're down 27-3 though, but he's still like, and I can remember going back to high school, man. At some point, it's so much mental. Like, there's a switch that flips where you're like, fuck it, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Like, athletically.
It can be a negative thing, but it's almost, it can be it goes back to what you said about Jaden Daniels at Notre Dame. We've had this conversation before. It can be a negative thing for these guys, but some guys need it. Like, just let it go, man. Like, let it rip, go do your thing. You know what I mean? And when you get that confidence and you start making throws and you start getting, momentum is a real thing in sports, man, and it's a confidence builder. Confidence is a real thing for quarterbacks, and when they start getting it, you see it. It just jumps out.
So I'm going through all this to try to provide the audience kind of what I'm watching and witnessing, and I'm like, this isn't very good. But now in, like, second half LS or Ole Miss, they're getting blown out. So most people have turned the channel. Like, fans are probably disgusted, but I saw that switch flip where it was like, all right, I'm just gonna start doing my thing. And I felt like early in the season, understandably so, he was hesitant at times. He didn't know his limitations at times. But in this game, taking off and running more on subsequent plays, offensive line struggling to protect that vicious Ole Miss pass rush. But it felt like LaNorris, for the first time in the last quarter and a half that I had watched him during the year, during his first year as a starter, I'm taking matters into my own hands now. And he kind of never looked back. It wasn't all perfect. I can go through all these pages of notes, right? And like, did he lose a fumble again? Needs better ball security. Pressure comes, but there's ups and downs. There's ups to go with the downs, And there were
for every one of
ups.
those, I had in my notes. I kept writing in capital letters for the positives. How did he make that play? How does he make that throw? Like, he can do things that other guys can't do. And they played Alabama after the Ole Miss game. They lost that game too. They're 3-3 at that point. And then they start rattling off wins. And he's starting to become,
grows.
Exactly.
And I promise
it's fun to watch,
if
man.
you go back and watch it through this lens, watch how much quicker he is.
Mm-hmm.
Watch how much more loose he is as an athlete, which translates to trying to, like, make that extra cut or doing, like, he started to play like the LaNorris, who was a whatever star that Coach Beamer fell in love with, and the program decided he's our guy, right? And most importantly, he started to play like the guy that Coach Beamer, with a lot of talent on that team last year, going into an SEC schedule with a loaded SEC schedule, said, I don't need more experience. I need LaNorris. You know what I mean? And I know Shane, and I'm certain Shane was in his ear, like, I chose you, bud. Go be you. I recruited you. I know your family. I know, like, we're in this together. Go be you. And he started to do that. And it's special. He reminds me, I'm just going to throw it out. I know there's like Jackson Dart comps to Jalen Hurts and this. This guy's a bigger Jalen Hurts in my mind.
Okay.
And I want to say that, and I want you to think back to Jalen Hurts at Bama, even before he got to Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma. He was not a great passer.
No.
The decisions, this guy in the beginning, I'd have to go back to Jalen early on. I don't think he made quite the numbered level of mistakes. But what?
I would agree with that. I don't think
Yeah.
Jalen was careless. Not careless might be too harsh, but Jalen took a better care of the football than LaNorris has at this point.
LaNorris had 33. He took 33 sacks and had a bunch of strip sacks in 12 games played. Okay. It's a lot. So, but I do want to get, I really want to make this point. It's a 1-year starter. And I want you to remember where Jalen was at Alabama in his first year as a starter. There were flashes. There were some amazing things, but he was a hell of a lot better as a runner than he was as a passer. Right.
Right.
And then he got benched. And then he went to Oklahoma and he became a better passer. But even when he came in the league, even his first year, starting in the league, he has developed. And so I try to look at it through that lens of, I can't coach what he's got, man. He's 2 inches taller than Jalen. He's 20 pounds heavier than Jalen. Yet he's just as fast and he's just as sudden. And when he's playing with confidence, he's just as creative. That's it. Like, that creativity is so dangerous, and you can't coach that shit. Okay. You can't coach what Jalen has. You can't coach what LaNorris has. You can't coach what Lamar has. You just can't. You either have it or you don't. And so, like the old adage over, you can't coach accuracy, and you're either accurate or you're not. Like, no, it's not true anymore. It's not true anymore. But in a league where you had to be so proficient as a pocket passer because mobility was not part of playing that position, you lived and died on it. So if you weren't accurate coming in the league, you weren't going to last very long because you didn't have a backup plan. But Cam Newton had a backup plan. Lamar Jackson had a backup plan. Jalen Hurts had a backup plan. LaNorris Sellers always has this in his pocket. Always. And by the time he starts to lose maybe a step or a half a step, the absolute, no, I don't even want to say hope. It's not hope. It's the expectation is he will have developed as a passer and some of the mental makeup, right?
Yeah, I don't listen to that. That's why I don't hate the Jalen Hurts comp, but like I'm ready to go. I guess bigger. Jalen Hurts is awesome. So don't get me wrong. I think this kid could be Josh Allen. Like I see Josh Allen because I see that frame. He's that much bigger. When you look at how big this guy is and what he can do, and I think about the games that Josh Allen is, I mean, basically,
I just think he's twitchier and doesn't have the arm of Josh. I think he has a damn good
man,
arm.
I don't know.
Josh Allen's arm?
Yes. I don't know.
I stood freezing my ass off in Wyoming and then not freezing my ass off again at his pro day in Wyoming and watched him like flick it 70.
Getting an allergic reaction to the horses.
That was horrible.
Was that game?
It was that game.
Listen, I know you earned it, man. I know you saw him throw live, and I have not seen LaNorris Sellers throw live. But when I see him,
I haven't either.
Hit a guy 65 yards in stride, and I see him with like no follow through, just zipping the ball in. Maybe it's not as strong as Josh Allen, but I mean, what are we just? Are we nitpicking now?
No, I hear you.
This kid's got a strong arm, man.
I guess it's more like the intermediate stuff. I didn't think there was quite the energy fitted in spots, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to agree on everything. I just see, and remember, Josh Allen coming out of Wyoming, a lot of questions about the level of competition he faced. Obviously, LaNorris Sellers won't have that, but the level of competition and the accuracy issues. Was he refined enough as a passer? And before the Bills went out and got Cook at running back, Josh Allen was basically their running game whenever it mattered. He was their best runner by far. And I still think may be their best runner. and you look at what LaNorris Sellers can do in those games, the run against LSU, 166 yards against Clemson. Can't get it going with his arm, just takes over with his feet. I don't know, man. I know it's the ceiling. I know LaNorris Sellers isn't there yet. I get it. But the raw ability, the tools, the talent, I mean, it's exciting.
I want to say this, and Shane, if you're out there, you can clip it if you want. And I know it's worth not even as much as the paper that I printed my report on. But if we're making this decision based on LaNorris, not South Carolina, not an NFL team that wants him, not an agent. If we're making this decision, and I know this is so premature, but if we're making a decision on the future of LaNorris and how great he can be in the NFL, I don't want to see him in 2026.
I know.
And
it's fair.
So when do you want to be selfish? Do you want to be selfish because you want him in the draft this year because he's so freaking talented and all that? Or do you want to be selfish when he gets in the league as an evaluator to say, that's the best LaNorris can be? LaNorris is prepared. He's ready to go be the best he can be and get that second contract. I don't know what they're paying down in South Carolina. I'm sure it's good enough. And it's a hell of a lot better than what people were getting paid under the table in years past. Okay. And I hope people don't hear that as a negative either. Because if we're truly going to do this business in the way we've structured it and the way the same mentality you and I have always had, like a very small fraction of our job. That's why I used to get calls from Nick Saban and Urban Meyer and many, many others yelling and screaming because if they thought, and sometimes they were right, sometimes I maybe overvalued somebody, sometimes I was right and they were ready, okay? And I'll never bring up a name of those conversations.
I have so many names running through my head right now. But go ahead.
I know. But my point is this. Damn good nickelback and a damn good wide receiver in the league. I nailed it.
Couldn't help yourself.
My point is this. I want to see him develop because he's got a chance to be so special, Muench.
Yes.
This guy is different. He's not 6'2". He's not 6'1". He's 6'3", maybe 6'3" and change. He's not 220. He's 240. And he moves like, he's not Lamar, but he moves like maybe better than Jalen. You know, like he's in that range.
It's a straight line speed, but he's also got that nice hesitation move that he throws in where guys throws a little hezzy in and cuts back. He's not a
when he gets going and when he gets going and does some he's pretty good. Yeah, and he's got a really good arm, whether it's a 1 or a 1.5, like he can make every throw with juice.
Yes.
And he's only going to get better as a passer.
Right.
It's going to be interesting, man.
And he's got to listen, like I mentioned it, he's got to show that he can handle a little bit of buzz, a little bit of success. There's no reason to think that based on his background that he won't be able to do it, but you got to show you can do it. You got to build on what you were doing last year.
We said the same thing for Arch.
Right. There's things you have to take care of business, man. This is the danger of doing these conversations of having these conversations because Muench said this and McShay said this and all that. You got to go out there and handle your business on the field. What we're seeing right now is really something you can be excited about, but nothing, you don't write draft reports. Teams don't make decisions based on how a guy looked the year before or in June of the year before they go into their last year of college football. It's just not something that happens. You got to take care of business.
Yeah. And I want to remind people, like Caleb started 35, 37 games.
Something like that. Yeah.
And I'm not saying another year would have necessarily done it, but his rookie year didn't go as well as the guy who started 56 games. And I think it's 56.
Yeah.
I always mean to check these numbers, but it's in the mid 50s for Jaden Daniels. And it didn't go as well as the guy who was the sixth quarterback, 12 overall. Bo Nix, who started at the time the most starts in college football history, 63 or 60. I think it was 63.
It was 64.
64.
Right down there,
yeah. And so when I'm looking at this and I saw how raw and kind of overwhelmed at times he was early in that season, I kept reminding myself, this is his second start against Kentucky.
He's 19.
And he's 19. And it's his first start in the SEC. Like, chill,
Yeah.
you know? But even if SEC goes on an epic run, they play their 12, they win the SEC championship, and they play in the SEC championship, get in and play 4 games. That's 17 games. He still doesn't have 30 starts because he had 12 last year. And so, yeah, it's above the Parcells number, but we're starting with this NIL and college football playoff and the transfer portal, right? We're starting to get a look at, hey, these quarterbacks are easier to evaluate now because we know what we're getting. And much more important, throw out the evaluators. We've all learned to get thick skin in this job. They're ready to play. They're much more ready to play. How could you not be? If you do your job for 2 years, in year 3, you're going to be better than you were in year 2. Typically.
If you're any good at it, yeah.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? If you're good at it, if you're good at it to begin with and you're motivated.
Right.
I'm going to be better at my job. I know I was better at this, at television, at radio,
absolutely,
at writing, at evaluating. I was better at all 4 things in the 3rd year than I was in year 2. And I'd like to think in year 25, I'm better than I was in 24. I actually know I am. Fucking killed that last draft. And I know that you're a hell of a lot better than you were in every aspect of it. So
nowhere to go but up.
Stop it. Yeah, and that's why I don't know. I'm fired up to see the development, and I hope he gets to a point where at the end of this upcoming season, where everyone's like, yeah, he's ready. Like, how could you not? He could be a top 5 pick. He could be QB1. But I don't even know what it would take for me to be like, yeah, I still think he'd be better off going back another year. What would it take? While you think about it, I do want to remind people, and this is where the agent part and the people in your ear, everyone is going to be telling him, yeah, but Arch, if he has a great year, right? And there's talk about him potentially as a QB1. Everyone who has a vested interest in him coming out in 2026, marketing people, agents, all that, financial advisors, all of that. Everyone is going to say, well, Arch is the next year, at best your QB2 next year. So go ahead, answer my previous question. What would it take in your mind to be like, you know what? I think he is ready. He'll improve from year 3, but I think he's ready.
He's got to dot all the I's and cross all the T's in terms of having that year, right? He's got to have the great year, which ideally would include a playoff run where he plays well in that playoff run. And then really what it comes down to is so much happens in the calendar year for the NFL. Where do we think he's going? Do we think he is a top 3 pick? Who are in those top 3 picks? So there's been a coaching change where like a Ben Johnson now, potentially has a top 3 pick. Obviously that wouldn't be the name, but is there a young, talented, offensive-minded coach is in that top 3 that you feel good about going there and getting, and developing in the right way? Are they picking in the top 3 for reasons that maybe they had injuries the year before and the roster is actually a little bit better and they've got a general manager who now knows what they're doing? It's got to be that situation to me. It's got to be if you dot your I's and cross the T's and continue to progress the way that he's progressed over this year. I mean, let's be honest. It was a big jump from watching a kid against Old Dominion who looked like he was throwing up on his shoes, to be honest with you, to see where he was in those Clemson and Missouri games. That kind of a leap, I don't think it's out of the question. And again, if you're talking about that playoff run, you're talking about those 4 extra games potentially in high pressure situations against good defenses. Ideally, hopefully they get the process right this year in terms of picking the right teams. Call me if you need help. That being said, and I don't think it's out of the question, but to me, it really does come. And this is where I think the players have some power with going back in the NIL and not having to come out. is you can look at what the situation is and have a good feel. I know we just had a player, Shador Sanders, who didn't manage this well, but have a good feel for where you're going to go and who could potentially take you. Because if you think you're going to end up in the right situation, you have confidence that's going to happen, it's going to sway you a little bit one way or the other.
This is awesome, man. Like being able to just talk it through with you and like be honest about even my report that I wrote last night at 1 a.m. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I hope people appreciate it. I think it's a really good way to build a foundation to go into the season, full transparency, where we are, and let's see how it plays out, right? But that Missouri game and the Clemson game, I mean, I even just jotted down a note, like if this is a preview of what's to come with Sellers from the last 2 games, those 2 games I studied last, the confidence, the aggressiveness, creativeness as a runner and as a passer, and what we just saw, it's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote. It's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah.
You get a chance to, it's going to be wild.
Yeah, the tools are different, man.
All right, if you want a little bit more on it, the McShay report is out. Google it. Subscribe, would you please already? Why are you holding out? Why are you holding out? I see 20, 30, 40, sometimes 200,000 people watching our YouTube channel. I think we've got like 12, 15,000 subscribers. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Just Google it, the McShay report. That's McShay report. We're back on Thursday. Folks, we're going to find out. Is Muench really like anti-Clemson? Does he hate Dabo? Does he never want to go to the SO Club? I love Clemson, man. It's got a special place in my heart. But Muench was hard on Clemson last year. Was it last year? Yeah, in the beginning of the year. It was hard on Clemson. Wasn't completely wrong.
I think I was fair and balanced. Fair and balanced.
So Clemson fans took a little exception to it. And we're going to find out on Thursday. Cade Klubnik, continue the series. Thursday, please join us. We'll find out if Muench can take the blinders off, give a fair evaluation. No, I'm joking. No, I'm excited for that one too, because Klubnik's got a lot of talent as well. So appreciate you joining. We will be back on Thursday. Cade Klubnik. We'll start to kind of stack these guys a little bit and give you a feel for what the upcoming season is going to look like. And I got news for you. If you live in the state of South Carolina, if you've got ties, if you went to one of these schools, it's going to be a fun fall. There's a lot of talent. All right. We'll see you Thursday. Later. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.